to do a little exercise together right now to simulate what's happening in your day and where that time is going. You should have a piece of paper in front of you. It'll say multitasking exercise at the top, and it says multitasking is worse than a lie. If for some reason you can't find it, just grab a piece of paper and draw 3 lines across it horizontally like that. That's all you need is 4 rows. Now you'll see the phrase on that worksheet that says multitasking is worse than a lie. Let me explain where that comes from. In my book, The Myth of Multitasking, I paraphrase Mark Twain. Mark Twain is credited with saying, there are lies, damned lies, and statistics, right? I say there are lies, damned lies, and multitasking. Multitasking is worse than a lie. It's worse than a damned lie, because even in a group full of highly educated people like this, my guess is at some point you've heard multitasking's a bad thing, right? You've heard the radio, NPR talking about it, you've read a news article, you've heard this, but has it changed your behavior? More importantly, has it changed the behavior of the people around you? That's why this is worse than a lie, is because it's the cultural norm. And this group, this room right here, is going to start the change happening. So here's our little exercise that we're going to do together. This is timed, so don't start until I say go. You're going to recopy the phrase, multitasking is worse than a lie, in the first row. And then you're going to write the numbers, 1 through 27, in the second row. That's one number for every letter in the phrase, multitasking is worse than a lie. That's it. Got it? Get ready. Get set. And go. Five seconds. 10 seconds. 15. 20 seconds. 25. 30. We'll go 5 more. And 35. Most of you are done at this point. Great, now we're going to do this again. But this time, we're going to simulate what really happens when you think you're multitasking. See, what most people are really doing when they think they're multitasking is switch tasking. You're switching rapidly back and forth between these tasks because your brain is only able to handle one active task at a time. So we're going to simulate that. Next exercise that we're going to do here is we're going to do the same thing. Multitasking is worse than a lie, 1 through 27. But for every letter that you write, you're going to write a number. M, and then you'll write 1, and then U, and then 2, and L, and then 3, and so on. Got it? And this will be timed again. Okay, ready? Get set, and go. 5 seconds. 10 seconds. 15. 20 seconds. 25. 30 seconds. 35. This is where we were when we stopped last time. 40. 45 seconds. 50. 55 seconds. 60, we'll go 5 more. And 65, and if you're not done now, just give up. I love doing this with a large group like this because you start to hear how the energy changes in the room when we do this, right? Now let's talk about the first three effects of multitasking. Number 1 is the most obvious. What was it? Time, right? The amount of time it takes to complete things when you switch task increases, somewhere in this exercise in the neighborhood of 50 to 100% for some of you. Now, this is a fun little scenario, but what really happens in your day? This is what happens in your day. You'll be sitting at your computer, typing away at an email. someone walks in and they say, I'm sorry, I've got just a quick question, right? I call that the dreaded double Q, the quick question. So you stop what you're doing. You answer the question. The answer is 42. Thank you very much. See you later. Thanks for those of you who got that reference. Now what do I need to do? Where was I? What was I thinking about? Where was I typing? Or if you're off the charts ADHD like me, you'll completely forget you have an email on the screen, pick up a piece of paper over here, work on that piece of paper, and 2 hours later you have an unfinished email on your screen, right? Whenever you switch, because of switching cost, the amount of time it takes to complete things increases. Effect number 2, quality. Be honest. How many of you ended up on a number other than 27? Right? Now, we practiced this before. I gave you clear instructions. I give you written instructions, an example, and you still screwed it up. Whenever I see highly intelligent people making very dumb mistakes, that is a symptom of switch tasking, not incompetence. Number 3, this one's not quite so obvious until I ask you to think about it. But consider how you felt between the first and second time that we did this, right? Your stress levels increased. The first time I was calling out numbers and it was no big deal. How many of you wanted to shoot me as I was calling out the numbers the second time, right? Stop that. Because all of a sudden, just introducing this one thing of switch tasking, it becomes difficult and painful and laborious. Is it little wonder that we live in a world that has so many time-saving devices and so many stress-relieving outlets, and yet we feel we have less time and we're more stressed out than we've ever been in the history of the world? And who's to blame for this? Al Gore, right? He invented the internet. No, it's us. It's the choices that we're making. And in the breakout session, I'll get into specific strategies on how to overcome this. Now, there's one more effect, a fourth effect that we need to discuss, and we're going to simulate that right here. But first of all, before we do that, just to recap. Number 1, when you switch tasks, the amount of time it takes to complete things increases. The quality of your work decreases, and your stress levels increase. So here's the fourth effect. What I'd like you to do is find your GCP. That's your geographically convenient partner. Turn and locate that person. Make eye contact with them. Not too long. Now what I'd like you to do, give me your attention, is for 20 seconds, I want one of you to tell the other person about a hobby that you enjoy doing. Or if you can't think of that, just tell them about your family. 20 seconds. Ready? And go. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Give me your attention. Okay, now we're going to switch this again. We're going to do this again, but just like we did last time, we're going to add switch tasking to the equation. So, this time the person who was listening, I want you to talk to the other person, tell them about a hobby or your family member, but the person who's listening, I want you to switch task. Play with your phone, play with your papers, do something else while the person is talking to you. 20 seconds. Ready, get, set, go. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. All right, give me your attention. My time is short, please. Now, in one word, those of you who are being switch tasked upon, how did that make you feel? Disrespected? Ignored? It's getting hostile over here. All right, please give me your attention. In one word, what I usually find is it can be summed up in this: unimportant. Right? Now, imagine this scenario for me. You wake up, you go down to breakfast, you turn to your significant other and you say, "Hi, honey, you're unimportant. What are you going to do today?" Or you pick up the phone. You say, thank you for calling XYZ company. You're unimportant. How can I help you? Now, you'd never do that, right? But you do that, right? Whenever you multitask or switch task on a human being, you're communicating to them that they're less important than anything else you could be doing at that time. Now, I'm going to finish with a story here. I am a huge NFL fan. And one day we were watching the Super Bowl. I was really into the game. We had guests over. I was so excited watching it. We had the chips and the dip and all that stuff, and I'm just really into it. I look down and I see this. That's my son when he was 2. And he held up a book about Eskimos. And he said, Daddy, read story? In the middle of the Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? Now, what would you do in this situation? I had 4 options pass through my mind. Number 1, DVR, not an option. We had friends in the room. Number 2, go away, kid. Don't bother me. I'm watching the Super Bowl. Number 3, I multitask, right? Good parenting. Put them on my lap. I read the story, and the Eskimos went fishing, and touchdown! Oh, I'm sorry. But I know that there are 4 effects of multitasking. Number 1, the amount of time it takes to complete things increases. The quality of the experience decreases. My stress levels increase, and relationships decrease. So I went with the 4th option, which is sit him on my lap and read him the story. You know how long it took me? About 3 minutes. Now, I don't know what I missed during that time, whether it was a sack or a fumble or an interception or a funny beer commercial. But what I do know, and what my son knew, was that I had nothing better to do than focus on him for those 3 minutes. And when I was done, he said, thank you, Daddy, and went and did whatever 2-year-olds do. These are the opportunities that you have every single day, and that you will have the moment this presentation is over to give people 100% of your attention and to communicate to them that there's nothing more important than they are. And that becomes a powerful differentiator in an ADHD world. Thank you for listening.